what is the maximum amount of power that this SFPI will?
I'd recommend staying under 10 milliwatts.
10 milliwatts, okay.
I mean, I don't think it's going to hurt anything, but it's better to just be safe.
Mm-hmm. What are you looking for? Oh, okay. All right. Is it 215 or?
Yeah, 215. Special spacers.
Your y-axis adjustment.
Yeah, I have a fancy
Little jack,
but it's just two, off by a quarter inch or something. All right, so it close enough. We should probably be seeing something. You can turn the scope on. Boot takes time to boot. I mean, this isn't so bad. I mean, we had an optical spectrum analyzer from Agilent. It looked like 5 minutes. I mean, it was running Unix or something. 5 minutes to boot.
Yeah, I got this because.
So there already.
Right. Okay. Good. Because John Wagner suggested it.
It's one of the common, Yeah. It's good. It's as decent performance, but it's relatively inexpensive.
Yeah, but I also figured, since I'm in regular communication with him, and he understands my level of understanding or lack thereof, he's able to, And since he's using this, I figure it'd be best to have the same unit, so he could.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
so this is adjusting. I don't want to.
Also, if I'm hoping that his company is going to send him back to the States at some point.
Is going to what?
Send him back to the United States at some point.
He's not in.
He lives in New Zealand.
Oh yeah, right.
In Auckland, and he works for a New Zealand company, Aeroqual, and he was their chief troubleshooter, which is why he got to travel around and come and visit us. So, what are you adjusting here?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure what I'm adjusting.
Oh, okay.
Let's see. That's I'm adjusting it all. Okay, I'm just adjusting vertical position. Get the amplitude. That's probably a comfortable one. And now we turn on 4, so we'll get the trigger. And we get the trigger level. You see, this is the trigger level. That orange,
yes.
That's the trigger level. So it's got to be within the. And
so if you can adjust that, you can adjust that too. No, there must be a knob for adjusting that.
There is a knob. There is a knob. In fact, right now it's.
Oh. Okay.
But the problem is that I don't.
You don't know how to move the.
Yeah, I don't know how to move.
Yeah, I got you.
I mean, you can move the trace back and forth.
Right.
But you can't.
So is it single mode now?
Oh yeah, this is the 215 is.
So it's only when there's different heights.
Well, it's only when they're.
Or irregular.
This spacing is a single. That's called the FSR, or free spectral range. It has to do with the spacing of the mirrors.
Okay.
That will be constant for any given wavelength.
Okay.
But if there's something in between, and what we can turn this off and turn it back on, see if it ever goes multi-mode while it's warming up.
So what did you just adjust?
I just adjusted.
You adjusted that.
I adjusted that to do the alignment. So now we have to go back to.
What are you aligning?
This with respect to the laser.
Oh, okay.
So you can, if you watch the spots, return spots.
Oh yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
And normally you want it as high as possible, but the highest possible will probably be with the
this as high as possible.
Yeah,
I got you.
But normally that highest is probably going to shooting right back into the laser,
right? Which
may or may not affect. It depends on how it's unhappy. Now, what I'm going to do here is just reduce the amplitude. So, now, if that's not on, it should still. It should still be all right. Even though the channel is not turned on, it should still be able to trigger off of it. So I'm not sure if it is or it seems.
What do you mean by trigger? I'm not understanding that. the significance there.
If you do this,
okay. The blue.
The blue is the. No, that's the amplitude. Never mind. Sorry.
The blue is the ramp.
The blue is the trigger output of this thing, okay, which is just this kind of square wave-ish thing that's used to synchronize the scan of the scope with the scan of the SFPI.
You're doing that manually, or?
No, it should do it automatically. All I'm doing here is setting the trigger level, so that little orange thing says where it's going to trigger on this waveform, this blue one, and it's triggering on, I don't know if it's, let's see if it's, that doesn't matter. Pulse, when, pulse, do edge, source channel 4, when, it's edge, but I don't know what that means. All right, I was wrong. You really do need to look at the manual for some of this stuff.
So looking at that, the yellow,
Yep.
that is actually single mode.
That is actually single mode.
Okay.
And that's what you're always going to be looking for.
Right. Do
Now,
I need the blue?
You don't need to see the blue unless for some reason it's not triggering properly. That's the only reason to see the blue is so you can see where it is relative to this trigger level, the orange. That orange.
What does that mean relative to the trigger level?
That means it's going to trigger. It's in coupling to DC. If you look at the trigger menu, it's going to be triggering on channel 4. We go to edge. Why doesn't it stay there? Because I have to do that.
Supposedly that's a very sensitive adjustment, that knob, or one of those knobs. I don't.
Well, this knob is what just selects what you can select. This one is now on edge, and to lock it in, you have to push this, click on it,
Okay.
and that means it's going to trigger on the. And it says slope. It says rising edge. See that little thing? It says
yes.
The arrow going. So it's triggering when this edge of the blue waveform, channel 4, rises beyond this threshold.
Okay.
So this goes up and then triggers, and then it scans, and you get, what's on the.
What's going on here?
Yeah.
That yellow.
Yeah, the yellow.
Why is that low like that?
Because that's the second node that's low.
Okay. Second
Oh no, that's just because it's cut off. That's just because it's at the very edge of the scan.
But that's different than this. Oh, wait a minute.
See, it's just at the very edge of the ramp where the scanning, the Fabric Pro is scanning. So that's why it is cut off. That's nothing to do with anything.
So you're shifting this.
Yeah. Now you'll need to go through this also. But in fact, maybe we should do that right now. This one essentially adds an offset to the ramp into here, so it just moves where the moves basically where the mirrors are at any given time so that you can shift the waveform back and forth.
Okay.
This one,
That's purely a physical display thing.
That's
Has nothing to do with what's actually coming out of the.
well, no, that does have to do with what's coming out here. This is not affecting the scope. This is affecting what's driving this.
Oh, okay.
So when I adjust this, it basically is moving this signal, the high voltage drive signal, up and down.
Okay.
So it's moving where these peaks.
And this signal, the high voltage drive voltage.
Yeah.
Signal up and down. Okay. So when you rotate that to the right, you're increasing the shift.
Well, I don't know if it's increasing or just decreasing. Okay. It's one way or the other. It doesn't really much matter which way it is. So there. Okay. Then this one changes the amplitude of the drive range. So if you wanted to expand, for example, you had two modes that were really close together.
Yes.
And you wanted to expand it, then you could do this and expand it. At some point, there's just so much noise that it really doesn't really help. But in principle, if there were two modes, I mean, that's not two modes. That's just the SFP, the alignment.
So you expanded that.
Yeah, you can see that alignment of the SFPI, is not perfect.
Okay.
So frankly, I pretty much just leave it here most of the time, where it's just a nice single.
Okay.
Then this one is just a rate. If you wanted to, capture it slow rate, you could slow it down and then slow the scope up, slow the scope down, so it. Again, I just leave that full up.
Yeah. You're adjusting the vertical trigger level?
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's see. Yeah, so I'm going to go back to where it was, where it's nice. So I just leave this fastest. There's no reason not to have one of the fastest.
Right.
This can respond. It's going to respond fast enough. So this one.
So this is all the way to the right?
This is all the way right. This is all the way to the right. And this one, you can put it wherever you want. It just moves moves them back and forth.
Gotcha.
Now, this one.
The offset.
The offset, that's the
offset.
photodiode. That's just the output of the photodiode preamp. So that just moves up and down. And this changes the gain from the detector here.
Okay. Can you show me that again? Okay.
So that's the gain.
Gotcha. Okay.
And this is just the offset.
Okay. Offset from the trigger.
No, well, that's the offset from 0 volts, just an arbitrary value.
Okay. Okay.
Normally, it's probably doesn't matter as long as you adjust the trigger to be, adjust the controls here to be consistent.
Okay.
So that's on the screen.
Okay. So, quick question. Okay.
Yeah.
So when I set this up,
Yeah.
I'm going to set up well, the laser's in a fixed location.
Yeah.
So
You're going to set it
so
up.
I'm
You're going to
break
put
off-
it. You're going to put a
I'm going to break off using a microscope slide.
or something that won't affect the main beam enough to matter.
Right.
Which a good microscope slide is probably okay.
Right.
Theoretically, a proper,
And then
very expensive optical window might be a little better, but I doubt you'd ever notice it.
And then I'm going to pass it through this filter.
Well, depending, the microscope slide, if it's at a watt, this microscope slide is going to cut it down by 90 to 95%.
Right.
Now, the polarization. If you know the polarization, you can adjust the microscope slide to be what's called the Brewster angle,
Right.
where it would be very low reflection, maybe much less, and thereby by angling the slide slightly.
And I can see that by just putting a detector on it.
Yeah, you can see
A light
that.
detector.
So if you have that, if it's convenient to do that, then you can, you know, set it up so you get take the minimum amount of power out of the laser for the SFPI. And all it needs a milliwatt or something, you know, comfortable.
Right,
value of
that I
milliwatt.
can do. I'm pretty sure I can do that.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay.
And then I pass that directly at the zero,
Directly.
zero order through that filter.
Well, you don't even need to, at that point. You really don't even need that.
No, okay.
As long as it's under, say, 10 milliwatts. You
Okay.
take it 1 watt, cut it down by 99.9%. It's
Okay.
one
So
milliwatt.
get to 10 like anywhere 10,
Yeah.
10 milliwatts or below.
And you know,
Right.
you'd
And
have
then,
to be.
and then align this.
Then this has to be aligned so that the beam is roughly in the center,
Mm-hmm.
and it's going to be reflected almost back to the. You'll see the spot on the microscope side, so you can reflect it back to that
Right.
location.
Right. Okay.
And then
this
you
will all
tune
be
it-
this will all be pre-hooked up, but
And
not
then,
but not
just leave
turned
this.
but not
You're
turned
gonna,
on.
Yeah, exactly. This will be all pre-hooked up.
Now, do I have to turn the things on in a sequence or no?
No.
No. Okay.
Nope.
So likely what I'll do is I'll turn this on. Does this take a time to warm up?
No.
No. Okay.
No.
And then I'll turn this on.
You turn that on and go have a cup of coffee while it boots. So silly.
Okay.
But yeah, it literally is. It's running off. Probably running Windows.
Okay. So this one will be maximum. Right.
These two max.
Rate will be maximum. Offset will be about in the middle, and gain will be
whatever
also
gives you a
about in the-
convenient size.
Then,
But
then-
again, since you can adjust the gain here and the sensitivity here.
Okay. What are you doing here, Leslie?
That's the
Okay.
channel 1 gain.
Okay.
Channel 1.
Right.
sensitivity.
Big jump there.
Well, that knob is probably 2 to 1. Then you could
Okay.
then there's probably a way to do a finer
Okay.
adjustment, like pushing some magic button or something.
Okay.
That's why you use this one. Then use this
I
one
gotcha, okay.
or this one.
Oh, there we go.
Way maybe
Okay.
easier.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, in that scope, there's a separate knob for the fine sensitivity. I don't know
Okay.
how you do
So
it there.
okay. So this goes into this goes into the input from here.
Yeah,
into
that
here.
goes to input, photodiode input,
and then
detector input
channel 1
is the detector output.
is the
What is it called? Photodiode or detector? What is it called? What is it called?
down here. It says oscilloscope blanking.
Yeah,
No,
what is this called?
Where am I missing? Oh, amplifier.
Yeah, an amplifier input and output.
Oh, that's where that's going. Okay, so channel 1 goes into output. Okay, and then channel 4 is going into blanking. Okay, and that's the blue. Okay, and I assume that if we put it on here,
It's going
it would
to
be pink.
It would be a different color. Yeah.
So why did you choose those two? Just out of curiosity.
I don't know. I mean,
Okay, random. Okay.
but there's some two.
Yellow and
you
blue.
think that
Yellow
maybe
and blue?
two may be the, as you say, two of those channels may be digital, so we can just change that. Turn this off, turn down 2. Turn.
Oh, it's blue. It's still blue. Okay.
What? Oh, it's still blue. I don't know why it's still blue. But
So you have to adjust this here.
let's see, why am I not? What is this adjusting?
You know what? It worked the way we had it.
Yeah, I know. I'm just curious.
Okay.
You know, if it ain't broke, let's break it. So.